Hey guys, it's me, Bets Golden. I am one of Rita Bearcat's design team members, and today I thought I would jump on and show you how to color with alcohol markers. But I forgot my colorless marker, so I need to get that. It's a blender, even though, let's be real, blenders are no good with blending colors. Blenders are good with erasing colors. I have a couple different alcohol markers. You can use them. I've discovered I don't have to stick to one brand when I do this. So I like my Copic colorless blender for erasing color. However, I had by me the Style File marker, which will work. And then to create some hair, this is Shinhar Art, and it's the grays with some black in here. I love this for hair. I think that grays are a definite necessity in our crafty world. Like, I really think that is a great thing to have. You can do shadows, you can do cool stuff with mountains and water and dark and awesome. Then the other thing I'm using is my Copic sketches. And this will be used like these right here for some of the skin tones. So I actually am working on a design team project for Rita right now, and a swap. And so I just took some of the Technique Jumpy stamps that she has out, and I stamped these on paper, like so. And then I also stamped the sentiments. And so I was going to color one in with you real quick, just to kind of show you how to do your coloring, and we're gonna do this little gal right here. So what you want to do is, I like to pick 3 different colors for skin tone. Make sure I stay within the same shade. So we're going to go with these real light ones, and your light color you're actually going to use twice on this, and you're going to use it as a base, and then you're going to put your other colors down, then you're going to use it to blend it together. The only time that you ever use a blending tool is when you want to erase color. That's the only time. So I use this in hair for highlights. I never use this to blend. It doesn't blend, it erases colors. It's a complete lie on calling it a blender. It should be called a color eraser. All right, so I'm gonna go in here, and I'm gonna have to crouch a little bit to see this. So if I don't catch your comments, I'll look up and catch them later. But I'm gonna take a seat so I can see this. One of the things you want to do when you are working with alcohol markers is you want to put a piece of paper underneath of your project, because depending on how wet your alcohol marker is, it will seep down onto whatever your craft mat is, glass mat, and then it'll seep back up into your project, and that's when you get the issues with not staying in the lines. And some alcohol markers, like my Style File marker, this one is super wet, so I like to put 2 pieces of paper under it because it'll seep. All right, so the colors that I'm going to use for her skin are Eggshell. This is E50, and then this is E53, Raw Silk, and then Barely Beige is E11. And so I'm just going to go through and put down my lightest color first, and you're going to notice that as I do this, this doesn't necessarily, it'll look blotchy until I blend it all out with this light color again. So I'm just putting this down as a base, and what this does is this just allows the other alcohol markers to lay nicely on this and blend out in the end. So you really do need a base of a light color. This also will allow for some nice highlighting and whatnot of her too. And I'm using the brush tip little pin. There's a fine point, like one of these ends on it, but I'm not using that for this. I'm using this. Now, I am no Copic expert. I'm not an alcohol marker expert. This is just kind of what I've learned as I've gone and watched a few YouTube videos. Okay, so I'm going to use my next shade, which is Raw Silk, and I'm just going to go in to some of the areas and just darken around some of these areas. I won't cover as much as I did with that first color, just a little bit of shading. No rhyme, no reason, really. I'm just going to shade it on out. And again, if you're making comments, I'm sitting down so I can see what I'm doing, but I will look up at the end. So I'm just going on through here, and I'm actually going to shade in kind of her eyes right there as well. And I thought it would be fun to give her like black hair, because a lot of people get miffed by how to do black hair, and there is a little trick, so we're going to do that. And then just right here on the little nose. All right, now I'm going to go in with my dark color, and I'm going to use Barely Beige on this. This is E11, and I'm just going to put it kind of where I think shadows would go. And usually the trick to doing this, if you don't know, don't worry about that right there that you colored into the hair. It's not going to be a big deal. You just kind of follow the artist's lines on these, and that's pretty much where your shadows will go, is right where the artist drew the lines. And then of course we'll go in with some of the cheek right there. And right there. Now, as you can tell, that's really, really blotchy, right? Pretty blotchy. Well, we're going to go ahead and blend that out. And like I had said before, I'm not using my blender because this isn't a blender, it's an eraser. My base color, my lightest color, is going to be my blender. And so you're just going to go over the whole thing once again with that color, and it will start to pull that color on through and blend it out really, really nicely. And it may take a few passovers to do that, and see how she's already starting to blend out. That is how. So the spots that I have the ink down in, you know, the real blotchy areas, those are the ones that I'm focusing on. And boom, there I go. So now she's shaded and she's ready to rock and roll. So, excuse me, I'm fighting a cold. I want to make her little eyes green, and I'm not really going to do much to this. I'm just going to use Nile Green, really bright. I'm a bright artist. I like a lot of color and vibrancy, so my stuff tends to lend itself well to that. All right, so for the hair, now this is the trick with black hair. Whenever you want to do black hair, you need to have a base of blue. And I know that that sounds really crazy, but you do. So I'm going to do ice blue as my base, and then I'm going to go ahead and pull in these markers. And the color that I'm going to use for this is going to be Cool Gray 8 and then just straight up black 9. Now, I may use my colorless blender on this to add in some highlights at the end to take color out. But for the time being, I don't know if I need that yet, but that's the only time I use a colorless blender, is to take color out. So you're going to want to go through and color all of her hair blue if you are going for that black color. If you want a dark black color, you want to color your base blue. I don't know why, but it works. I love doing hair. I've always been a fan of the hair. So right there where I got that, I'm not that worried about it. It's gonna all blend in. I don't stand the lines. I'm actually a horrible colorist when you think about it. I'm not nearly as good. Like, some people can bust out stuff and I'm like, wow, how do they do that? Me, not so much. I'm kind of sloppy. That's why I have to sit down and I can't look at comments as I do this. Make sure I'm still in the frame. I am. Awesome. Okay. was just going to get that. I need to do her lips too. I got to do that. I'm going to do that before I forget. Okay, so see, I'm like scribbling. I'm not even trying to make it. That's what I love about alcohol markers is you can scribble. Okay, so now she's blue. Let me get her lips real quick. For her lips, I'm going to go ahead and just do this pink. All right. Back to her hair. So now I'm going to go in with my second lightest color, and the nib on this is the same. So I'm just going to go back through, and I'm just going to, I like to make streaks through it like so. If you want to color it full on, you can, but when I do hair, I kind of just make streaks through it, and then like at the ends, I'll do a little bit of coloring, but yeah, I'm kind of weird. And don't worry if it looks bad, because we're going to blend it out, and then I'm also going to take color away if I need to with that colorless blender. And by doing it this way, it also allows for really nice like highlights and things to go through. Low highlights, low lights, things like that. And I'm probably going to go over her band with some glossy accents just to make it kind of pop, and I may even change the color of that later, but I'm not worrying about that right now. And you know, I'm not really showing much of that blue through. That's my point, isn't to give her blue hair. My point is to give her like black hair. So, but you have to have that blue as the base. Okay, so with this one, I'm done with my cool gray, and now I'm going to go in with my black. And again, I just like to make individual strands. So I'm going to go up over here. And any blue that's still showing, I am going to kind of go over. Okay, so I know, it looks like you're like, what the heck, that's a hot mess. It doesn't even look like good black hair. I know. I'm gonna go ahead, stand up, see if I have any comments yet. No comments yet, perfect, okay. Not that I don't want you to comment, but I can't catch them all. So now I'm going to go back over with that blue, that really light blue. And I'm just going to color over it one more time. And what this is going to do is it's going to blend those colors together. It's going to give me some nice shading and make those lines a little bit softer and blend them on through. Now I did get outside the lines, as you can tell, in some spots, and this is when that, excuse me, that blending tool, really should be called an eraser, comes in handy. So what you want to do to push your color back in the spots where you want it is you want to use this tip, and you're just going to take it and you're going to just push it back into the color. And what it's going to do is it will push some of it back in, and it will also erase. So right here on her face, I'm going to probably have to go over that again with my my color that I used on her face, which is totally fine. In hindsight, I probably should have colored her face last, but I didn't. So that's okay. Okay, so I'm just kind of pushing that back, and then I'm going to go back through and fix her. Now, from here, I do like, and then right here also. Now, if you have a white pen, you actually can go around the edges, outline her with the white pen, and that'll take it away as well. Okay, so I'm just doing that, and the color will start to fade as the ink starts to dry, as the alcohol starts to dry. All right, so from here, I do want to go in and add highlights, which means I'm going to take some color out. So I'm just going to go over, and I'm going to find where Rita illustrated those lines, and I'm going to highlight those lines because those lines are black, and it'll be a really, really nice contrast. So I am removing, and you can see the color is literally coming up. It does not blend. This is not a blending tool. That is a marketing lie. This is a color eraser. It lifts your color. All right, so now I have some highlights in there. I'm going to go back over with my color I used on her face, and I'm just going to start to I don't care if it gets into the black hair, but I do need to definitely try to cover that up just a little bit. All right, she's already starting to look way good. And then let me go over this one more time with this pin. My dog totally just snored. Did you guys hear that? That's so funny. All right, so that's how you can do black hair and your alcohol markers for skin tones. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and make sure that you go over and check out Rita's blog, always, for inspiration. And these are also in her store, so make sure you check that out. Have a happy Thursday. Bye!